Thank you very much, Mark. Firstly, it's so great to see extra chairs being brought into the room. There are some more chairs at the front if anyone wants to move forward. My name's Adam Williamson. I'm the UK Country Manager for Exclusive Networks. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome you today. We all get invites to a lot of events, okay? You've chosen to invest your time in spending it with us, and so for that I'm really, really grateful. So it's incumbent upon us to make sure that your time is well spent today. I'm only going to spend a few minutes with you today setting the scene about what today's about. I'm going to hand over to a CISO, then our vendors are going to go through some presentations with you. But it's really important that we allow you to extract value from today, so make use of the networking time as well. So, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, are there any Spurs fans in the room? Quick show of hands. Okay, this might not be the... Bit of a nervous week. So I always find it quite important when we're hosting these events to give you some information about either the venue, what it's normally used for. So not knowing much about football, did a little Google. Turns out I'm in the right place. And yet we're in a changing room. What a salubrious venue. So these things wouldn't be possible without our sponsoring vendors, right? So a massive thank you to NetApp, to Wasabi, Drata, Thales and Druva, but also a massive thank you to Mark and to Annabelle for arranging the event. A lot of work has gone into this, and it's really a testament to the amount of people that we've got attending today. So a little bit about Exclusive Networks for those of you who don't know us, and I don't think there's many of you that don't know us. So we are a global organisation. Depending what currency you want to talk about, we're about $10 billion globally, which is about 7 billion euros, but I work in pounds, and in the UK we're around about an 800 million organisation. It's fair to say we've got a pedigree of what we would call cybersecurity. Typical cybersecurity. But let's boil that down. We actually started as a network security provider, mostly selling firewalls, to be fair. And then what we've seen is as people changed where the perimeter was, or we became perimeterless, if you like, many, many more security devices were added to the stack. Where you needed to secure changed. People moved to the cloud. They thought it was secure. Then they realised it wasn't, and so cloud security became a thing, then SASE security. And when people then say, well, Exclusive Networks, they've got a new data security division. None of those technologies are there to secure anything but data, right? Data's always been at the crux of our business. Data is the most important asset that any organisation has. And hopefully today, you already agree with us on that, or you'll be convinced by the end of it. And the reality is, someone wants to get at that data. Those tools that we put in place are there to stop people getting at that data. Some of the tools that will be mentioned today are almost accepting that people will access data, and it's making sure that if that data is accessed, that it's completely useless to the offenders. And so what is the real cost of cybercrime? So the forecast this year is $10.5 trillion. Right, and rising. So next year it will be a hell of a lot more, as I'm sure we're all aware. But the reality that we see is that's bigger than the GDP of Japan and the UK added together. Right? This is a whole new economy. It's a global economy that's come about. So what do we actually look in terms of forward projection on data? Well, by 2028, we're going to be talking about 209 zettabytes of data, right? I can't even comprehend that amount of data. You'll see today from, I think it's NetApp, are going to talk about what it looks like past that. But the reality, if we think about those bad guys that are looking for that data, that's a hell of a lot of IP, a hell of a lot of data that people are going to be coming at, trying to extract from organisations and making sure that they can then monetize that in some manner, whether that be ransomware, whether it be actually selling IP. So the CISO's battle every 39 seconds, a cyber attack is occurring somewhere in the world. Every 11 seconds, a new ransomware attack is launched. Now, we're going to hear from Dave in a moment, but it's quite a busy job. It's quite busy for the SOC teams, making sure that they're dealing with those threats. But it's also important to have the right security in place. So if we think about the implications, right, none of this is going to be new to any of you. But in a finance world, stealing data, stealing our money is potential. Fraud happening. In healthcare, it could delay people getting the necessary treatment that they need. It could take hospital systems offline. In defence, it could have an absolute monumental impact, right? If we think about, I don't want to talk about politics today, but if we think about some of the things that are going on today, right, it's not just things flying through the air and causing damage. There are absolutely warfare being fought over the internet, using data, stealing information. If we think about retail, I don't want to mention Marks and Spencer's, I think it's been done to death, but the reality is we all saw the impact that our retailers went through, and it wasn't just Marks and Spencer's, it was the supply chain that they were working with. So the impact on us, there wasn't food on the shelves, there was the transport, they were responsible for delivering meat to the supermarkets, were unable to deliver it. That food perished. So the impacts are really far and wide when it comes to the specific vertical. I said I wasn't going to talk about politics, but I think we're probably in a situation at the moment where we might get a bit of a change in Prime Minister in the UK, maybe. But we also know that people stealing data or infiltrating data has had an impact on the elections, potentially, maybe, in a global climate. So in which instance, all of this data, we have to make sure that we're protecting it. But we're generating more on a daily basis. We've moved from that network security through to cloud security. We're now in this AI era, and it's now our responsibility to embrace AI, but safely enable it and make sure that the data that we're producing, we're protecting, but also is accurate as well. That's it from me.